The waters, ocean, and seas are scary enough that I wouldn't like to go close to them. And what makes them even worse is the scary creatures living within their depth. In this video, we are going to showcase a sea creature that is a potential competitor to your worst nightmare, because when nature mixes a shark and a snake, you get this living fossil, the frilled shark. The frilled shark is an obnoxiously weird eel-shaped shark of dark brown or gray color with an elongated body. The reason as to why the word frilled is associated with it is because of the curled-up gills around its neck. It has 6 pairs of gill slits that are interconnected with one another and make it look like a collar. Its head is mostly flat in shape and somewhat broad with a round snout. The nostrils are more like slits passing vertically through the skin just above the mouth. The fins of the shark are extremely far behind its body, almost close to the pelvic region. These primitive features are a few of the many factors that play a major role in classifying the shark as a living fossil. This shark can easily pass as one of the scariest creatures living underwater. In fact, the frilled shark is not the only shark to be considered a living fossil, as it has a deadly cousin too, the goblin shark, who happens to be even more threatening when it comes to marauding. 𝗦𝗛𝗥𝗟𝗏 was the person responsible for naming, studying, and researching this living fossil in around the 1800s. 𝗦𝗛𝗥𝗟𝗏 also performed an experiment in 1881 where he took 2 dead specimens of the frilled sharks to Vienna in order to give a full description of this eccentric creature. But it was unfortunate enough that he lost the research report that he had written about the specimens. Ultimately, the specimens had to be given to the museum to conduct the research further, which was taken forward by a scientist named Samuel Garman. A thorough study of the frilled shark's anatomy was carried out, which was nowhere near the organisms of that time. In fact, the anatomy itself was so unique that an entire family of these species was named after it. In present times, a lot of scientists and zoologists argue over the fact that the frilled shark is more of a sea serpent as compared to a living fossil because of its snake-like demeanor. Not just the way it looks, but also the way it moves is closely related to snakes. Apart from the gills, another unusual feature is its mouth. The average shark has its mouth facing downwards, whereas the frilled shark's jaw somewhat resembles the jaw of an ordinary fish or even a tetrapod. This is another criterion based on which it is often considered as a snake or a lizard. We are assuming that we have justified the title of our video and as to why we called it a mixture of a snake and a shark. Soon after, a few decades later, this weird creature started to be considered as a member of an extinct shark family, but it kept on changing over the course of time. Like any other shark, the frilled shark also has hundreds of teeth inclined in a row-like pattern which are as sharp as razors. To be more precise, the frilled shark has 300 teeth in around 25 rows in its mouth. The teeth look prickly and are replaced with new ones in regular intervals of time. These teeth are mostly used to prey on soft and fleshy fish like calamari, squids, or other small sharks. The frilled shark can open up its mouth wide enough to suck in the prey. Moreover, is the fact that it can even prey on animals that are just slightly smaller than its own size and suck them in too. Other animals that have a similar quality are viperfishes and gulper eels. The victims don't even stand a chance to fight against this beast. There's also a wild theory claiming that the shark uses the whiteness of its teeth to lure the prey. The theory was in justification of the frilled shark's estranged habit of swimming with its mouth wide open. As deadly as it can be towards other sea organisms, it is quite harmless to human beings and can be kept in local aquariums too. It is one of the slowest moving sharks with an estimated lifespan of 25 years. Moving on to this beautiful beast's habitat, the preferred territory of the frilled shark is the cool waters wherein it lives in the middle layer of the ocean, deep down as 100 to 4,000 feet. The species is vastly spread across the world, but the most prominent groups are found in the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans. Even after their worldwide existence, you can hardly see them ever. This is because they are scattered and unevenly distributed. Needless to say, it lives deep down in the ocean and doesn't really come on the surface that frequently. Fun fact, the first time that it was seen in its natural habitat was in 2004, despite being discovered in the 19th century. As far as the communication process of the frilled shark is concerned, scientists have not been able to study how it communicates or perceives messages, which is probably because they are difficult to observe since they live deep underwater. Although, based on whatever details we have of other deep-water sharks, we know that these creatures are sensitive to sounds and underwater vibrations and hence navigate accordingly. They can also sense electrical waves sent off by moving animals, which helps them detect their prey. The size of the female frilled sharks is often larger than the males, and they tend to reach sexual maturity when they are at least 1.35 to 1.5 meters long. The largest female frilled shark was recorded to be around 6.6 feet in length, whereas the largest male frilled shark reached just 5.6 feet in length. Unlike humans, the female frilled sharks usually give birth without the assistance of a placenta, and as soon as their little ones develop internally after a gestation period of approximately 3.5 years. On average, it can produce somewhere between 2 to 15 fertilized eggs, wherein the embryos are kept secure in a drill-shaped egg sac. The entire egg sac is pushed out by the mother when it senses a decent development in the embryos. The newborn attains all the body parts that it will ever need to survive in the ocean by the time it reaches 16 to 24 inches in length. However, owing to overfishing of the sharks, in 2016, the International Union for the Conservation of Nature (IUCN) announced the frilled shark to be in the category of near threat of extinction. However, it later classified it as an animal of least concern of extinction. The truth of the matter is that we can never know for sure if the species is endangered or not, because we do not know the exact number of frilled sharks that exist. This is quite obvious as it never really comes out of its natural habitat and hence is rarely seen. What do you think the scariest aquatic creature is, or did you just discover a new beast? Let us know in the comments below. Also, tell us which beautiful beast you would like to see next time. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.